Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. What if everything you've been told about stress is wrong? What if the very thing you've been taught to avoid, suppress, or fear, stress, isn't the enemy at all, but rather the greatest untapped power in your life? Imagine, for a moment, that the pounding of your heart in a tense situation isn't a signal of weakness, but a signal of readiness, that your racing thoughts aren't a warning sign of imminent burnout, but your brain revving its engines, preparing you to rise, connect, and conquer. What if stress, the villain of modern wellness, is actually a misunderstood ally? For years, we've been told that stress kills, that it's the root of disease, unhappiness, even premature death. But what if the science says otherwise? What if it's not stress itself that's harmful, but our perception of it? What if the key to a more vibrant, courageous, and meaningful life is not to escape stress, but to embrace it, reshape it, and use it as a force for growth? This book is not a prescription to eliminate stress. It's a revolutionary invitation to befriend it. In these pages, you'll meet soldiers who grow stronger through adversity, caregivers who thrive amidst pressure, and everyday people who've learned to transform anxiety into energy, fear into focus, and pressure into purpose. You'll discover how to rewire your mind, reshape your body's response, and rewrite the story you tell yourself about what it means to struggle. You are stronger than you think, and your stress is trying to show you just how powerful you truly are. Welcome to a new way of living. Welcome to the Upside of Stress, Part 1 Summary. Rewriting the Story of Stress, Chapter 1. The New Science of Stress, a Mindset Revolution. Let us begin where most minds tremble. Let us speak of that dark, dreaded force that has been misunderstood, maligned, and mislabeled. Stress. Now listen well, for this is a revelation that strikes like lightning to the soul. Stress is not your enemy. It is not a cancer to be eradicated, nor a foe to be vanquished. No, it is a signal, a messenger, a catalyst calling you forth into greatness. Dr. Kelly McGonigal, a psychologist of rare insight and uncommon courage, has turned the tide on decades of fear-based thinking. For years, she stood before crowds and told them, "Stress will kill you." But she learned, as all great minds must, that the truth evolves. From the great laboratories of science came a challenge to this notion. Studies emerged that shook the very foundations of psychological dogma. People who believed stress was harmful, and only those suffered the consequences. But those who embraced stress as a helpful force, they thrived. You see, dear reader and listener, it is not the presence of stress, but your belief about it, that determines your destiny. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill. So too does every stressful moment carry the seed of growth, of courage, of wisdom. McGonigal invites us to rewrite the stress story. Where you once saw danger, now see design. Where you once saw weakness, now see wings. Stress is not a weight. It is a workout for the soul. Chapter 2. The Mindset Effect. The beliefs that shape our biology. Now let us look deeper into the very heart of what drives this transformation. Mindset, as Hill once taught, is the architect of fate. Thoughts become things, beliefs shape biology, and consciousness creates consequence. This truth holds no less weight in the domain of stress. McGonigal presents us with the riveting discovery. Those who were taught to see stress as enhancing rather than debilitating began to perform better, live longer, and suffer less. This is no trick of the imagination. This is no placebo. The body's very response to stress changes when the mind interprets it positively. The pounding heart. Now it becomes energy, the quick breath, oxygen for your brain, the tension in your gut, a readiness to respond. Imagine this. A group of Harvard students prepped before a high-stakes exam. Some were told, if your heart races, it means your body is energized and prepared. What happened? Their blood vessels dilated, their minds sharpened, and their scores soared. What does this tell us? That your body is not betraying you. It is coaching you. Every racing heartbeat, every bead of sweat, every clenched muscle. It's the body's ancient wisdom preparing you for performance, not panic. You, too, can claim this power. You, too, can reshape your biology through belief. Chapter 3. Reconnecting to Purpose. Why Use Stress Matters. But let us go one layer deeper into the golden vault where true transformation lies. Purpose. Why do we stress? Why do we care? Because we love, because we strive, because we are alive with dreams, duties, and desires. McGonigal reveals that stress is not a malfunction. It is a signal of meaning. The most stressed people in society are not the aimless or apathetic. No. They are the caregivers, the teachers, the parents, the entrepreneurs, the warriors of everyday life. They feel stress because they care about what they're doing. They are engaged with life. To reframe stress, we must reframe our relationship with purpose. Rather than saying, "I'm overwhelmed," begin to say, "I'm invested." Rather than cry, "I can't take it," rise and declare, "This matters to me." When you view stress as a signal of what you value, it transforms from a curse into a compass. Stress is not a stop sign. It is a signpost, pointing you toward what matters most. The great achievers of history have all known this secret. The weight on their shoulders did not break them. It built them. There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants. Napoleon Hill. Stress is proof that you know what you want. Now go and claim it. Chapter 4. The Hero's Response. Courage, Connection, and Growth. Let us now speak of the most exhilarating truth of all. Stress awakens your inner hero. When the brain perceives challenge, it is not merely panic. It prepares. It releases not just adrenaline and cortisol, but also oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Why? Because the true purpose of stress is not isolation. It is connection. This is the radical beauty of what McGonigal has uncovered. Stress does not pull us apart. It pulls us together. In moments of strain, the body prepares you to reach out, to seek help, to protect others, to tend and befriend. Response is as natural as fight or flight, and far more powerful in building resilience. This, dear listener, is the transformation we must embrace. Stress is not merely personal, it is prosocial. Stress does not weaken character, it builds character. Stress does not hinder growth, it is the very soil in which it takes root. McGonigal leaves us at the end of this part 1 with a resounding message. The upside of stress is real, but you must choose to see it, to train your mind as you would train a muscle, and to forge belief into your greatest asset. In the spirit of Hill, we now understand this. The mind is the master, and once you change your mindset about stress, you do not merely survive it, you thrive through it. Part 2. How to get good at stress. Training the mind to turn strain into strength. Chapter 5. The Transformational Stress Mindset. From Fear to Fuel. There comes a time, dear listener, when theory must meet practice, when revelation must give birth to repetition. And this is that time. If part 1 introduced you to a bold new truth, that stress can be an ally, then part 2 is the arena where that truth is forged into habit. It is here that you train your mind like an athlete of destiny. This is no place for passive wishing. It is a workshop of will. McGonigal calls upon us to develop what she terms a stress-enhancing mindset. This is not mere optimism. This is mental training, rewiring, intentional transformation. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. And so we must first conceive of stress as a tool, a strengthener, a messenger. When we feel our breath quicken or our chest tighten, we must not recoil. We must lean in with purpose. McGonigal provides the cornerstone of mindset training, a 3-step technique that will make the very ground beneath your doubts tremble. 1. Acknowledge stress when you feel it. Awareness is the beginning of power. Denying stress makes you its victim. Recognizing it makes you its master. 2. Welcome it by connecting it to your values. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Stress is always linked to purpose. Find the gold in the grit. 3. Use it as energy for action. Let stress sharpen your focus. Let it energize your effort. Let it remind you, you are in the game. This is the mindset of champions, the mindset of leaders, the mindset of those who transform adversity into achievement. Chapter 6. Mindset interventions, the microshifts that create macro results. Now, listen with great attention, for what comes next is nothing less than a scientific alchemy of thought. McGonigal brings forth the idea of mindset interventions, short, simple exercises that create lasting transformation. These are the mini habits of Titans, brief moments of reflection and redirection that accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Studies show that watching a 3-minute video or reading a short article on the positive side of stress can permanently change how people respond to pressure. Did you hear that? Not temporarily, permanently. The lesson is thunderous in its clarity. You do not need massive overhaul to change. You need consistent, intentional shifts, just as a single thought, burning with belief, can launch a man into greatness. A single reframe, repeated and reinforced, can transform stress from a burden into a blessing. The ladder of success is never crowded at the top. Napoleon Hill. Why? Because few are willing to do the internal work. Few are willing to confront their own perceptions, but you, if you are willing to change how you see stress, will rise above the pack. McGonigal's interventions are not elaborate. They are daily declarations. They are journaling prompts, self-reminders, value anchoring. Reflections. They are mental weapons forged for the battlefield of life. Chapter 7. Growth through stress. The biology of becoming stronger. At this point in our journey, we ask a question the average mind fears, but the great mind welcomes. Can stress make me stronger? The answer, my friend, is a resounding yes. McGonigal introduces us to the concept of stress inoculation. It is the psychological version of strength training. Just as a body becomes hardier through strain, so too does the psyche. What doesn't break you, if approached with the right mindset, builds you. In fact, those who endure hardship and rise through it often develop what psychologists call post-traumatic growth. They become more resilient, more grateful, more focused, more purposeful. Does this sound like fantasy? It is not. It is data-backed truth. Veterans, survivors, caretakers, those who have faced real stress and chosen to lean in, emerge transformed. Here's the secret McGonigal delivers. You don't need to be broken to grow. You need to be engaged. You need to train. Stress isn't what weakens people. Avoiding stress is. Strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Napoleon Hill. So don't run from stress. Run into it with a new mind and watch what power begins to unfold. Chapter 8. Courage Under Fire. Using stress to deepen meaning and motivation. In this final chapter of Part 2, McGonigal brings the hammer of insight down upon the anvil of action. Stress can deepen your sense of meaning. Stress forces us to ask hard questions. Why am I doing this? What matters to me? What am I willing to endure for? It is in these moments of internal fire that our purpose crystallizes. McGonigal tells the story of individuals under immense stress, students, emergency responders, single parents, and shows how, when they connect their struggle to service, to values, to dreams, they don't crumble, they ignite. The greatest among us are not those who avoided pain. They are those who transmuted it into power. They chose to believe that pressure is not punishment, it is preparation. And so I say to you, if you are facing stress today, do not curse it, do not run, do not tremble. Instead, look it in the eye and say, you are here to make me stronger. You are here to make me grow. You are here to shape me into who I am destined to become. This is the warrior's path. This is the creator's mindset. This is how you get good at stress. Part 3. Stress as a path to performance, connection, and courage. Unlocking the power of stress to transform your life and the lives of others. Chapter 9. Stress enhances performance. When pressure becomes power, let us strike the anvil with a question that echoes through the halls of ambition. Can stress make me perform at my best? The untrained mind cries. No. The ordinary mind recoils. Too much pressure. But the trained, the awakened, the intentional mind roars. Yes. McGonigal leads us into the exhilarating world of challenge stress, the very type of stress that sharpens your attention, energizes your body, and focuses your will like a laser on the task before you. This is not the stress of fear, it is the stress of growth, the very pressure you feel before a bold speech, a championship game, a crucial interview. That is your body preparing you to rise. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand, Napoleon Hill, and start you shall because. Now you know, stress prepares you, not paralyzes you. Those who succeed are not free of pressure, they are simply skilled at channeling it. McGonigal shares research showing that when individuals are taught to reinterpret their stress responses as performance enhancers, their outcomes improve across the board. Faster reactions, sharper memory, more creative thinking. So, what is the takeaway? Do not strive for comfort. Strive for conscious challenge. Step into the stress, lean into the tension, and transmute it into triumph. Chapter 10. Stress deepens connection. The bond that pressure builds. Now let us pivot to a truth as ancient as love itself. Stress draws us closer to one another. Yes, in the crucible of shared struggle, the strongest bonds are born. McGonigal calls this the tandem befriend response, a biological and emotional impulse that, under stress, pulls us toward people, not away from them. It is here that oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, enters the stage, but it is no delicate player. It is a resilience amplifier. When your body is under pressure, it releases oxytocin, nudging you to seek help, give support, strengthen social bonds. Think of the firefighter running into the flames not for glory but to save a life. Think of the mother who, though exhausted, rises at midnight to comfort her child. That is stress, not destroying, but fortifying the human spirit. No man can succeed in a line of endeavor which he does not like. Napoleon Hill, and no man or woman can thrive alone. McGonigal reveals that social connection during stress doesn't weaken us, it strengthens us. When we reach out, we build trust, intimacy, and courage. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't isolate. Activate the connection response. Reach out, serve. Let your stress drive you toward community, not away from it. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Chapter 11. Stress reveals values. Finding meaning in the mess. There is a question every soul must answer in the Valley of Challenge. Why am I doing this? McGonigal, like Hill, strikes at the essence of purpose. Stress reveals what you care about. Stress without meaning is suffering, but stress with meaning, it is the birthplace of character, the forge of passion, the hallway to legacy. What we often call burnout is not from doing too much. It is from doing too much that feels empty. But when the stress is in service to something you believe in, everything changes. McGonigal shows us how to reclaim that meaning. Reflect on the why behind your challenge. Anchor your stress in your values. Let your discomfort point you to your calling. Just as Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the first principle of success, McGonigal teaches that purpose is the medicine for stress. Your stress is trying to tell you something. It is saying, this matters. Pay attention. Grow here. So do not resist the discomfort. Mine it for gold. Chapter 12. Stress makes you brave. The courage response. And now, dear listener, we arrive at the summit of this section, the peak of what stress can give you. Courage. Yes, courage, not just the ability to endure, but the ability to act with strength in the face of fear. This is not theory. This is proven. When you face a threat, your body prepares, not just to flee or to fight, but to rise with bravery. McGonigal reveals that stress increases your courageous behavior, especially when it's connected to protecting others, to speaking truth, to standing tall for something greater than yourself. Stress amplifies your inner voice that says, this is worth it. And here lies a striking truth. Your heart pounds not just to alert you, but to awaken you. Your breath shortens not to suffocate you, but to prime you, and your fear, that is the shadow cast by your growing strength. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Napoleon Hill. But you, armed with the knowledge of stress's power, will not quit, you will not cower. You will act, you will speak, you will love, and when fear stands in your way, your stress will be the very bridge across it. With unshakable energy and the conviction of a man on a mission, we now arrive at part 4, the final ascent in our journey through the upside of stress by Kelly McGonigal, delivered with the power, cadence, and relentless purpose of Napoleon Hill himself. You've opened your mind. You've engaged your heart. Now, in this final section, We bring it all home, from theory to practice, from inspiration to transformation. Part 4. Living a stress-enhancing life. Not just managing stress, becoming stronger because of it. Chapter 13. The courage to choose your mindset. Every single day, make no mistake. The most powerful decision you will ever make is not your career, your partner, or your goals. It is this: how will I choose to relate to stress? McGonigal hammers this truth with clarity and grace. Your mindset is a choice, not a trait. And it is a choice you must make daily. Why? Because the world will offer you constant invitations to retreat, to run from discomfort, to complain, to numb, to avoid. But those who rise, those who live on purpose, make a different choice. They say, I will meet my stress like a warrior meets battle, with breath steady, heart open, and mind focused. This chapter is your battle cry. It challenges you to become conscious in moments of tension, to pause and pivot, to ask, what is this stress trying to teach me? How can this challenge make me stronger? Where is my growth hiding in this pain? The strongest people you know are not stress-free. They are simply practiced at choosing a mindset that empowers them. You either master your mind, or it masters you. Napoleon Hill, Chapter 14. Stress for the sake of others. Making your struggle count. Now comes the part that will light your spirit on fire. Your stress is not just about you. It is about those you serve, those you love, those who watch you from afar, and draw strength from your courage. McGonigal calls this the bigger-than-self mindset, where the stress you feel becomes fuel not just for personal survival but for collective service. This is where meaning finds its might. Consider the nurse in an ER, the teacher in a struggling school, the activist standing before injustice. Are they stress-free? No. Are they broken by pressure? Not even close. They are driven by something greater than comfort. They are driven by purpose. McGonigal studies show that people who see their stress as in service to others experience less burnout, more hope, deeper resilience, and greater life satisfaction. Let this sink in. You can suffer with purpose and come out stronger. You can endure stress and become a beacon for others. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. Napoleon Hill. Give more, love harder, rise through stress, and let the people in your world witness your light. Chapter 15. From stress to strength, your practice plan for life. At last, we reach the culmination of this entire odyssey. A blueprint, not for managing stress, but for alchemizing it into strength, day by day. This is where McGonigal turns teacher and coach, offering tools that echo Hill's own legacy of personal discipline and applied thinking. Here is the simple, repeatable framework. 1. Notice your stress. Pause, breathe, feel it. Awareness is power. 2. Welcome it. Don't curse it. Don't wish it away. Ask, what does this stress reveal about what matters to me? 3. Harness it. Let stress fuel your energy, sharpen your goals, connect you with others, and push you into courageous action. This is not fantasy. This is mental conditioning, like weightlifting for the soul, and you must practice it daily, not when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. And here's the truth McGonigal leaves ringing in your ears like a victory bell. The more you practice using stress this way, the stronger you become, not just mentally, not just emotionally, biologically, spiritually, relationally. You become forged. This is the human superpower, the ability to take what once seemed like a burden and transform it into a blessing, a bridge, a battle cry. Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. Napoleon Hill. So persist, the final word. Turn your stress into strength, and now we come to the close of a mighty revelation, a message not whispered, but declared. With the force of destiny, stress is not the villain. It is the vessel, not a chain, but a chisel, shaping you into the finest version of yourself. The truths laid before you in these pages are not mere theories or passing philosophies. They are the living blueprint of a new mind, a mindset of power, of growth, of triumph. For what is the secret of all enduring success? It is not the absence of struggle. It is not a life free from tension, risk, or hardship. It is the ability to stand tall in the storm and say, "This pressure will not destroy me, it will define me." Let the masses cower at the mention of stress. Let them run from the fires of discomfort. But you now know better. You will run toward it, for you now understand the truth. Stress is the signal that something matters, that you are on the edge of growth, that you are engaged in a life of purpose, not passivity. Think of the greatest among us, the builders, the dreamers, the leaders, the healers. Did they live in ease? No. They walked side by side with stress, transformed it into strength, and used it as a ladder to their magnificent purpose. And now it is your turn. Do not aim to reduce stress. Aim to rise through it. Do not wish for comfort. Wish for courage. Do not ask for a lighter burden. Ask for a stronger back, as I have written. You have absolute control over but one thing, your thoughts. Napoleon Hill. So choose wisely. Choose to think of stress not as the enemy, but as the energy of your becoming. Embrace it, train with it, use it, let it launch you, like fire beneath wings, toward the heights of mastery. Your future does not depend on how little you suffer. It depends on how wisely you rise. Go now, and meet your life head-on. Let the world feel the full force of a mind set free from fear, for the battle is no longer against stress. The battle is for your greatness, and the time to begin is now. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.